So what we're going to do is we're going to start shaping our fretboard. We've already cut our frets and we've inlaid our abalone for our fret markers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a center line down the neck, down the fretboard. And we're not going to drop it down the straight center of the fretboard itself. We're going to drop it down the center of where the fret markers are, so that after we cut it, it ends up aligned centered on our neck. So I'm going to take my straight edge, I'm going to line right down the center of this fret, which is in the middle, and then down this one, and I'm going to make my straight line all the way down. If you have a very dark fretboard, such as this rosewood here, I'm going to definitely need to make sure that my pencil lines are dark. I'm also going to drop my center line down my neck, and I want to go from the center of my two string attachments, which will be right about there, to the center part right here of where this hole was, because when we screwed this in with our router template, that's centered, and this was cut to our router template. So if I connect these two lines down the center, and then I don't need to mark the entire line. What I need to do is mark a little bit above the nut, where in the center, and then a little bit below where the neck is, down the center. Now if you did a very good job gluing everything and aligning everything, this should be straight down your center seam, and this should be straight in the middle as well as this being straight down your center seam. Now sometimes people are a little bit off to the right or the left, and that's okay, but we want to try and make sure that our fret markers, when they're put with the strings on, the fret markers end up down the center between the two center strings. If you may notice, when you're looking at this, the abalone shells are slightly off center. They're going off to the right. But that's okay, because when we cut this fretboard, we're going to make it match the neck. And so what I've done is, it's hard to see on this, but you may be able to see the center line right down here that I've drawn with pencil, and that's going down all the fret markers which were cut down the middle of the fretboard. I've also marked on my neck right here my center line, and I've also marked the center line down here on the bridge. And what I did is I took my ruler and I connected the two, and I made a mark right here. So I can then effectively line this up on my center line up here, line this up on my center line, and I just use two pinch clamps to hold it in place while I take a pencil and very darkly trace right here. So if I cut these parts off, it should match pretty closely to my neck. So we've cut it down with the bandsaw, but it will still be a little bit wide, and we're going to use the flat part of the belt sander to continue to take it down while we constantly check every few seconds to see how close we're getting. We should only end up with about 1/2 millimeter sticking out on each side. Once you've got it really well aligned and sanded down so that it's going to make a really nice glue connection, then what you can do is you can start to dress up the end on how you'd like your fretboard to end. What we want to do now is we want to check out right here in this area and line up on here and decide which one of those ends we want our fretboard to look like when we terminate. For this specific one, I'm thinking I might do that wave design, which you might have seen on that purple heart shaped ukulele. So what I'll do is I'll sketch out my design of how I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to cut this on the bandsaw and do the final shaping on this edge.